Welcome back to another thrilling installment of Cold Blast with our good friend and tech advisor extraordinaire, Lou Kummer. Welcome, Lou.
Welcome back, Lou.
Thanks for having me.
Lou, you know what I've always wanted to know?
What is the Mnet?
What is the Mnet?
You don't know what the Mnet is, Mary Beth?
Well, for argument's sake, we're going to say no.
Okay.
What is Mnet, Lou? Tell us.
What is the Mnet? Well, the Mnet is a Mitsubishi control algorithm, and what it is really stands for is Mitsubishi Network.
Go figure.
So the Mitsubishi Network, I think we talked briefly about it on the MXZ branch box units, but its original origin was in the City Multi product. And so today we're going to go over two City Multi products and how the Mnet works, and the method to the madness, what it all means on the PUMI series, which is called the S series, and the Y series. There's a little more involved with the R2 series. We can do that at a later date. So, kicking off, the Mnet is, like I said, the Mitsubishi Network. So when we have a system, and there's going to be two terms we use. We're going to use Mnet, which is Mitsubishi Network, and the other definition is VRF, which is variable volume refrigerant flow. So on a VRF system, unlike a centralized system, it has multiple indoor units or zones that provide heating and cooling to a space. So when we have this, we need a way for our outdoor system to be able to communicate, and so everybody knows where everything is, and what it's kind of just like addressing like on a street. If you're going to get mail sent to your house, you got to have a number and a street name for them to know where to send it. So the Mnet is just like that. And if you do a project with us, we're going to give you a drawing that's going to have all this done already. But if you want to know what's behind all that, the way it works is we're going to go starting with the outdoor unit. So the way the addressing works is outdoor units are addressed 50, and inside the outdoor units, just let me step back a second. Inside the outdoor unit, there are two dials. All the systems on this system will have two dials that we set these address dials. They just have numbers on them. So the numbers for the Mnet for the outdoor unit would be 51 to 100. And on indoor units, it would be 1 to 50. So that's how the system deciphers what is. If it's a number above 51 or higher, it knows it's an outdoor unit. And if it's 1 to 50, it's an indoor unit.
Lou, let me interrupt you. How often are you seeing guys flip-flop those or mistake that 51 and up for the outdoor units?
It's kind of common. Not so much for the outdoor unit, because the outdoor unit can only sit one way. But sometimes indoor units, the way they put the board in the unit from the factory, the dials can be backwards. So expanding on what you said about the dials there and doing it backwards, the dials are marked SW11, SW12. SW11 is single digits, SW12 is tens. So if you have a system that has more than 9 indoor units, you're going to need to use that dial. But up to that point, you're only going to use the SW11 dial on the indoor units.
Gotcha.
Outdoor unit, the board's always facing what we would look at, like, so we're going to look at the number 51. It'll always be, the left number will be a 5, the right number will be the 1. It's never upside down or sideways. But on an indoor unit, just to make everything, how tight these units are for space saving, sometimes the boards are upside down or sideways, and it might be a little more confusing.
Gotcha. So you're really looking for that SW.
Yeah, you're looking for that SW 11 and 12 to know what to address it. So there's two buses on a Mitsubishi system. That's the local bus, which on the outdoor unit would be TV3, and on the indoor units it'd be marked TV5. This is where we connect our wires. And when we have what's called smart controllers, which are called ME controllers, we're also going to go on the TV5 with that controller. So here's how the addressing sequence works. 51, like I said, I already said 51 and above to 100 would be outdoor, 1 to 50 would be indoors. And if you have an ME controller, it would be 100 to 150. And where this 50 number always comes in, where if you paid attention, we're always stopping at a 50 number. We could put up to 50 indoor units on a Mitsubishi system, so they can get rather large and have a lot of indoor units running off one set of outdoor units. So if we have no other system, it's real cut and dry. We run 51 for our outdoor, and then we subtract 50, and that would be our first indoor would be address 1. We can never have two addresses that are identical in a Mitsubishi system. If that happens, you're going to have a error code. So we always want to make sure everything has a different address. So where it gets a little more complicated is if we have a global bus. The global bus is on TB7, and that's where we're going to have a central controller that's going to be able to control all the units. Rather than have to go to each individual thermostat, you can control it all from one central spot. So once we have multiple outdoor units, then we got to pay attention and we ain't doubling addresses. So say our first system is 51 and we have 5 indoors on it. So we would take 51 minus 50, and our first address would be 1. And then so our second address would be 2, and we'd go all the way up to 5 on our indoor units, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we have a second system that is on the same central bus as the first system. So our last system ended at 5. So our next outdoor unit would be 56. Now how do we get that? Because we stopped at 5 on the indoor and we added 50, and so our next outdoor would be 56. And then you subtract the 50, and then you know your next indoor is 6. And that's the way it goes all the way. You can go all the way up to 100 addresses on the outdoor. So since we started 51, there's a potential of 50 different outdoor addresses and a potential of 50 indoor addresses on a system. So that's how the system will communicate and know what's what on the system and know where to send refrigerant when there's a heating or cooling demand. And that's about it on MNet wiring.
And that's MNet.
Perfect. That's MNet.